Hi,
Hi. Hi, Court. How are you?
I'm
Happy New
good.
Year.
Happy New Year. I was just Joel just sent me from Curb Your Enthusiasm, like with this one episode. How long can you go past New Year's Day
You
to
know, but
still?
I haven't seen you face to face, so I just wanted to say that. But it's exactly right. Every time someone says it now, I'm like, it's just like, okay, when is it not Happy New Year? February 1st? Like, January 15th? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I found myself judging a little bit because I was writing emails and I was like, wait, how many days
Do
are
I
we into the
say
new
it?
year?
Yeah.
Did I not
Yeah.
say? And so I was like, delete, and I was like, I hope you're well. So
Yeah. And that's another one. It's like, hope this finds you well. It's like, how many emails can I start like that?
yeah.
But okay, so welcome to Conscious Corner with Annie and Courtney. And we're just on as usual, we were chatting before we started and we both thought, well, I thought, let's start because you're saying all this good stuff. We were talking about what we were going to talk about on today's show and how the new year has started for us and what is working, what isn't working, and what's coming up for us and what's, resonating and
Yeah.
what do we have going on? Not specifically like I'm going to the supermarket, but
Right.
more like, I have Eagles green nail polish naturally. That's like what's going on in my life. But other than that, yeah. So
Together we look like a Christmas tree because I have red, you have green, so we're very
you're red
festive.
for the Phillies?
What's
No,
that? The
you're
Phillies? Yeah, of course.
yeah.
I'm always a pro
Not a
Phillies.
big green person, but I just think that this is a really important time.
It's
Um,
definitely.
so okay, so we were just chatting about, and you made some really good points. What were you just saying?
So what's been coming up for me is, as our listeners may already know, if you've been listening, is I made the leap or the transition from working as a litigator after close to 2 decades, and now I'm exclusively pursuing my passion, which is to teach others and coach others in mindfulness. And the shift has been interesting and it's allowed me, it's sort of been like a container or a space to deepen what it is I teach, to be
Yeah,
present and to notice what's coming up. And how can we be gentle with ourselves and non-striving in what's here? And it's just showed me, it's revealed to me how in my training as a litigator, how rigid we become with ourselves. And and some of that we talk about that in other episodes, that we're like type A or we're go-getters, so it's sort of part of our hardwiring. But in the profession, in the legal sector, it can feel really rigid with between deadlines and time constraints and wanting to do a good job, that when we step out of that, at least what I've been seeing, when we step out of that way of living and doing, it can feel unfamiliar. And so,
yeah,
how do we relate to that? And what I've been noticing is sort of like craving, like almost like, who am I without that chaotic craziness? And I actually enjoy moments of slowing down and that space, but it's when it's not familiar turf, it can feel a bit foreign and almost like, what's going on here? Like this is something must be wrong. So
I'll tell you that your essence is completely brighter. Like you don't look worn down. You look bright and like there's like a light around you that wasn't like it's almost like that weight has been lifted. So much
ah,
weight.
I
Yeah.
have good lighting here, but yeah.
No, no, not like that. I mean, you always look beautiful, but it's like a light around you. Like I can't explain it, but I see it. It sounds
Yeah.
witchy, but I see it
Well, thank
when
you.
I'm
And I think that just sort of validates that I really do feel grateful and I really am excited to be able to embrace what it is I love doing, and that's helping others with mindfulness. And how can I support others in what it is they're doing so that they can find more joy and light. So yeah, so I think the the overarching theme has been this slowing down, this deeper space to just be. And I'm also noticing a little a freeze here. So I don't know, Annie, if your connection went for a second. Let's give it a moment. Speaking of being, let's just practice. being in this space, and now I'm all alone. So I'm noticing the mind wondering, where has Annie gone to? So let's give it a moment here to see if Annie comes back into our virtual shared space. And listeners, as you're sort of listening or watching, notice what's coming up for you. Notice how it is that you're experiencing this moment. And this is a great opportunity to just check in. Notice how you're feeling within the body. Notice where your attention is, where your mind is, if you're thinking about your to-do list or rehashing something from the past, maybe judging the present or maybe judging me. So it's really great information, great insight. And now I'm noticing Annie is back. Annie, you're muted, but that was a great opportunity. It was just like the most natural. I was talking about like space and just being. And so it was a great invitation while you zapped away into some virtual world. It was like a great opportunity. I invited our listeners and our viewers to just kind of notice like what's here. So,
All right, cool. So we
yeah.
didn't even get stopped. I don't know what happened. I got knocked off and now I'm back.
Welcome back. So I was explaining to listeners and viewers about sort of that slowing down and when you're used to that grinded out mindset or way of doing that, it almost because many of us in all of the busyness of our lives, whether you're an attorney, whether you're another professional, like our lives are very full and we don't like in those moments or in those periods when things slow down or you're stepping out of doing mode, it's really helpful to notice how we relate to those moments. Like, do we let ourselves enjoy space of less doing and just being? And I know for myself, as much as I teach this, like the benefits, the art of non-doing and how giving ourselves time to rest really does recharge us. Like, it's not always easy. And a lot of us are trained to just grind out more, that we're more valuable when we're doing more.
When we're doing.
Yeah.
I love that. That puts it really well. We are taught that we are more valuable when we are doing.
Yeah. And
like when you're like explaining to people like, oh, well, right. I just sort of rested, but because I really needed to. And it's like, that's doing. You don't need to qualify why you're resting, right? Like we're allowed to do that. So giving yourself that permission is really important.
Yes. And I love that. The permission. We don't allow ourselves. And when we're not aware of it, we just perpetuate the doing. And that's what pushes us into exhaustion and possible burnout. So it's important to know how we fill up those, like not fill up with more doing, but how do we, like, what are we spending when we're stepping away from the demands of our jobs and all the things we have to do? Like, how are we spending that time? What are we feeling? What kind of goodness can we fill it with? And just from what you've posted, I've been following as always and seeing all the beautiful posts that you have. It looks to me that what brings you a lot of joy and how do you kind of fill your plate with what's meaningful, what matters most. I see your beautiful blended family and like all the day trips or the hangout, not even day trips, just like huddling up, like the cutest picture.
Oh my God, New Year's Eve. I wrote that post yesterday or the day before. Like New Year's Eve was my son was so mad. My middle one was so mad at me about posting that. He's like, take it down, not on LinkedIn, but on Instagram. And I was like, nope, it's so cute. But we when the ball dropped, we got in bed together. We have a king size bed and believe me, it gets small really fast. And we all got in bed and I took that picture. And like, I've never done that where you're in your PJs with my glasses on and like, we just huddled together and the boys were punching each other, and Evie was like, guys. And then I kissed Kevin and I hugged everybody else and it was really nice. And I was reflecting on that picture and I thought, this is so different than it used to be. Like, and not to say that the way it used to be was wrong. It was just young of me. That's how
Yeah.
I felt. Like it was, you know, I didn't know what was really important to me. Not that going out and having a party and dressing really cute is not important to me, or
Yeah.
that it won't be more in the future. But like right then we actually went away the next morning. We left at like 6 a.m. to go to Lake Placid for 5 days.
Yeah.
All together. We don't ever have like the kids home all together except for this. No, we really don't, except for winter break. So we were in two cars and we got the kids, we took them to go skiing, but we were leaving so early in the morning that no one had plans the night before.
Yeah.
So we were in, you know, the kids would have been out with their friends definitely, but we were leaving the next morning, and it was a really nice beginning of the new year together.
I'm
But yeah,
just, oh, no, sorry.
I was going to say that has become very important to me as I age, and as I mom. You
Yeah.
know, I love hanging out with my kids, and especially my teenage boys. They're just so awesome to be with, and annoying and rude, but also awesome. So we've been having a lot of fun with that, and we're blended. So, so 20 and 16 are my stepsons, and then my son is 15, and then Evie's 13, and the boys are really really close. So I mean they're all close, but the boys are super close, and it's just really fun to watch them together. So that's like, I'm so grateful for that.
So my oldest is just a little bit younger than your middle guy, than your 16-year-old. He's 14,
Okay.
almost 15, and yeah, he would kill me. He would kill me if I posted a picture like that. But it like
Yeah, I didn't
inside,
tag them. I thought that was nice that I didn't tag them.
I
I
was
mean, it's
like,
not like I showed their friends, but whatever. They're into, like, obviously all into how they look.
yeah,
I don't care. I'll be that mom.
I wanted to know. I was like, what did Annie do? How did she bribe him? How'd she get this up there? Because like daggers would be coming out of his
Oh,
eyes.
I know. I just didn't. I stopped caring. I'm like, it's my New Year's. It's my Instagram. If you don't want to see it, then don't follow me. I didn't tag you. So they really didn't give me that much crap. But like my Sammy was like, "Are you kidding?" And then the other ones don't really care as much. But what I wanted to
Well, Annie's internet connection's not cooperating with us, but again, this is a great place. This is a great opportunity to just check in, notice where's attention, and maybe the comparing mind, maybe noticing if there's any comparing between what Annie's sharing and where you are, or where you are in life, or how you were spending New Year's. And really, it's so helpful, so much helpful insight and recognizing what's coming up for us and where our minds go. So let's rest a moment and see if Annie can come back to the episode. And she's back. And you're back. And another great opportunity.
I don't know if somebody's messing with the lines. I don't know where it ended, but I thought you were really into what I was saying. Like,
I
and I was
was.
like, "Are you frozen, or are you just really into what I'm saying?" I don't know what came up or when you froze, but I was talking about a word for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, I've done this for years. Words are my thing, right? Like I have words tattooed on my body. Like I'm really into words. So picking a word for the year is very apropos.
Yeah.
And it really, I try to have it resonate with me. And then I was like really thinking, I didn't want to make it like patience, because I'm always constantly working on patience, but what encompasses like how I'm feeling, and it's anchor. So I want to continue what I'm doing with working on presence. And I'm grounded, but I just want to continue that presence and grounding. And I want to feel that anchor. So
Yeah.
that's my word for 2025. What's your word? Did you think of one?
As you said that, because I actually didn't catch that before you went out, but as soon as you came back and you said a word, and I started like, what's the word of the year? Right as you said that, I noticed my mind going like, what's mine? And then I was trying to come back to listen to what
Yeah.
you were saying. But it's funny that you say anchoring, and what came up for me before you said that, because often when I guide a meditation, a mindfulness meditation, we use different anchors, which can be they're basically resting places for attention. So if we're doing a body scan, it's letting body sensations be a gentle anchor. If we're doing an awareness of breath practice, then it's the breath. It's not so much like it's not so much that like we have to be laser beam focused, but anytime we notice attention wanders off,
Yeah.
that's a gentle anchor. And so, speaking about
Your
gentle
space. Yeah.
anchor, the word that came up for me before you even said anchor is gentling. Gentling, like
Hmm.
gentling, like
So
almost like
two gentle things.
yeah. So and gentling ourselves. I it's a letting go of that rigidity, that sort of like just like grind it out
Yeah.
mindset and way of
Be gentler.
doing.
Be gentler.
Yeah. And as I'm making this transition from litigator to I started my own mindfulness business years ago, but like really launching it, putting my all into it is, I know where I want to get to, but can I be gentle with myself, practicing this gentling without having to strive to get from one place to another. So the word that really sums up what I've been leaning into and hoping to cultivate in the upcoming year is this gentling. And I
I
think
like
that
that.
when we're more gentle with ourselves than like forcing something to happen or making ourselves be a certain way, when we can be more open to the unfolding,
Of the way things are or should be.
yeah, it's almost like if you ever hear, I've heard this analogy before, like you want to see if a flower hasn't yet opened, like, but you peel back the petals because you want to get to the vibrant color and see what's inside. Ultimately then that flower is not going to survive, or you're going to see it,
You
but
need it to open at its own pace.
yeah. So the gentling is like let things unfold at their own pace. And I don't really, I'm realizing that I become impatient. And I think that comes up for a lot of us. So anchoring and gentling, I like them. I like them
I
both.
make that face at you. I rolled my eyes because every year I'm like, I need to be more patient. Part of it is, my nature, right? Like
You're a go-getter.
I talk like from here. You're supposed to really talk from like your right. Like I'm like right here all the time. My throat, like when they talk about chakras and stuff, it's all in my throat and chest.
Yeah.
So to kind of, even in my coaching, I have found that just instead of, because I have all these suggestions and I'm excited and I want to talk about advice and the things I've been through so that people don't feel alone, it's really beneficial to sort of just wait and let them finish. And like I just worry like I'm going to forget this
Yeah.
really good point I have to make, but it's like, then that's then I need to just be okay with that. Like
Yeah.
forgetting, like that's where I am at that moment. So even in my coaching, like you can still make people feel heard and seen, even if you're not like, oh, I totally understand. I totally get it. I'm with you. Like
Right.
it's good in coaching and talking and listening. People want to be listened to. People want to be heard because even my daughter, Evie, that's her biggest complaint is that people don't listen. They don't hear her. It's like she's like, you're not hearing me. You're not listening. And
Yeah.
guilty of that sometimes because I'm a solver.
Yep.
I want to get to the point. Well, here, let me solve it. And she's like, just needs to be heard. And I think everybody kind of needs to be heard sometimes. So, agree with you that but also being gentler on myself for the things I'm doing wrong or not doing, not doing them to in the best version of myself. Like I need to be gentle on myself and say, it's okay. Like I did my best today. I did good today, did goodness.
Yeah.
That's really important too. So gentling as well as anchoring. I like those. We'll stick with those
Yeah.
with our podcast.
I like the feel, I like the theme, and I'd love to cultivate both more in the
Yeah.
year to come. Yeah.
So interested in hearing other people, like shoot us a message on LinkedIn or wherever you can get us and let us know what your word is for the year and how you're practicing to apply that word.
Yeah. I would love to hear too, because I think that what others share are tips that we can all benefit from. And I
Yeah.
find that as much as I help other people in what it is I teach, I learn and grow more from the
Oh my God. Oh my God. My healing
yeah.
is so much because of how I'm healing people, right? Like it helps me to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a short and sweet episode, but
Yeah,
let's
let's
let
do
it
it.
flourish and grow by your sharing. So listeners and viewers out there, if there's something that you're finding that's really working and supporting you in the new year, or maybe there's something that you feel like is somehow like beating you down and you want to find a way to foster more gentling or feel more anchored, share away with us, because Annie and I love to hear what it is you have going on, and what's working, what's not working, and how we can maybe help in the process.
Love it. Awesome.
Love you.
Love
Love
you,
all of
girl.
you.
Mwah.
Be well. Take
Talk
care.
to you
And
soon. Everybody be well, and we'll see you next week.
yeah, take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Bye.